Morning, everyone. Thank you, Kerry, for the introductions. And normally we leave the thank yous and everything after I've done the presentation, but I'd like to thank Team Elcraig for organising this because it has a huge impact on what I'm about to present. And without that organisation and without the audience that I have in front of me, I don't think we'd be able to make some of those progresses that we made. Great, fantastic panel session there as well. And it's great to do it on day 2 purely because most of what I'm going to talk about is covered within the panel sessions and yesterday. What I want to try and present today is how one of the key 4 pillars of Elcraig is connecting the sector through innovation and collaboration. That's one of the key. This is what the session's about, and this is what we want to try and explain today. What I want to try and do is to bring that to the forefront of what innovation and collaboration will achieve. The panel session covered quite a lot of the stuff that I'm going to talk about on this presentation. What are we really looking at? Increasing the connection technologies, why are we doing it? Increasing the safety, efficiency for blue light services, reducing CO2 emissions. One of the key factors that's missing out of this particular sort of presentations over the years, and I think the panel session covered about use of drones. Coventry City Council were the first city to demonstrate a vertiport in the world in the city centre. That brought us into the sector of drones, the use of drones, and I think that's one bit of transportation that's missing out of what we need to deliver to. How do we achieve some of these things where we can? So reducing the targets that we're looking for the benefits of is to try and meet some of those key targets that been set by the government to try and achieve those. How do we do that? How do we integrate the multimodal transport with roads and air? Air is something that us as local authorities are not very good at. We've never had the experience on that. How can we bring it to the forefront? Collaborations. There are sectors out there using drones to do some of these data collections. What we need to do, collaborating technology and innovation. Who do we collaborate with? How can we bring the whole sector together in achieving some of these things that we want to do? National highways, we have assets there that need to get maintained and understand what the infrastructure looks like. Can we do it in a normal way? Can we use technology? Can we use the development of drones to do this? Yes, we can. I think we can. Transport authorities and urban planners, how can we give them the tools that innovation has given us now to try and understand? Can we get a drone to go and do bridge inspections, highways inspections, where we don't have to close the roads? Use cases that we have done in Coventry and we have shared with a lot of local authorities through the funding that we received from DSIT, and we've showcased that we can. When we're doing bridge inspections, we have to close the road, which actually disrupts the traffic. Can we use drones to do that inspection? Yes, we can deliver that, we can do that, but how do we get that message out to the general public and to the audience that's sitting on this in this conference? It's that collaboration, it's what was covered in the panel, communication. Can we share that data? Can we share that knowledge? And if we don't share it, we'll still be stuck in that little silo of having individual developments and not having to share that. Manufacturers and OEMs, the collaboration between the two, I think, is key. That's one of the things that has been missing, that, individually we'll do certain things and will not share that knowledge or the experience. When a small SME, and Elcraig was one of the areas that in the early days, there was the company still existing, TechGrid, very small SME, who developed the tactile. The tactiles were sort of very innovative, very cost-saving, very cost-effective, and it addressed a lot of the things. But a small SME who couldn't get the traction they needed, they introduced me to Elcraig, so we used them, and we introduced them and looked at the development they did. We then took that back to our DLO, who were actually the people who installed those things. The amount of cost savings that gave us and the amount of efficiency that gave us, but that also gave the small SME the tools that they needed and the credibility that the local authority is supporting that innovation, it's supporting the development of that. That then expanded, and now it's a standard deployment in our authority as a procured service. So sharing that, and that message then goes out to the wider audience. Developers, Civil Aviation Authority is another sort of entity that we never talk to. Darren covered yesterday that we, as DFT, we have rich data coming through vehicles, autonomous vehicles, driverless cars. The drone sector will also be giving us that same data. But do we have that skill set within the local authorities currently? We don't. And this is where I'm looking at trying to bring the likes of the apprentices that were showcased yesterday. Can we bring that young generation into this sector and tell them that there's an opportunity for you to actually do a career development within this sector? Because when you're talking about roads and transportation, it's not just about potholes, or it's not just about laying tarmacs. What is the future? An example that always aspired to be a pilot. So I went and got a drone pilot license, bought a drone, but could I fly that drone? No chance, because the dexterity wasn't there. But gave it to my son, who plays gaming and all that. Brilliant. Straight away got ducked to water. How can I get that message over to the young generation to say, don't just class local authorities or transport as not a career option? There is that. That's the message. That's the collaboration that I want to try and get out there, and to see how it is. Communication providers, again, covered earlier in the panel and yesterday. How do we keep that security, and how do we make sure that whatever development and innovation we do is secure? We have people, UK PLC can lead some of these sectors, because the rest of the world look at us because we are very good at making and addressing some of the challenges that we have. We always put safety first. We always address the vulnerable users. So people around the world and globally look at us developing that technology, putting that structure together, which we can then sell. And the SMEs and the OEMs who are sitting around in this particular audience, collaborate with us as a local authority. We can support that, and jointly we can develop that. Creating new businesses and job opportunities is something that will actually help us do that. One of the things that I wanted to share with you today is how the forums have actually helped us. Elk Creek events at Stoneleigh Park. 2 years ago, we demonstrated the connectivity between an autonomous vehicle and the capture of data from drones. So we showcased this 2 years ago at Stoneleigh Park, where an autonomous vehicle had a collision with a normal car. E-call system, what Darren spoke about yesterday, sends a message out to all emergency services to say there's been an incident. They discharge the drone, and they discharge all services. All services go out there. Again, police, ambulance, fire services, all the emergency services go there. Do they really address that? Because do we really need to do that? Can we send the drone out, stream those images live to all the relevant people, which then gives them the opportunity to do a triage service, and who really needs to go there? But that was our first demonstration 2 years ago. The point I'm trying to get to is we did that independently with the two services. This year, what we did was took that to the next level to showcase how collaboration actually works, because we then linked in with all the other OEMs and service areas listed on the side to present how this can be operational. So collision avoidance systems, where we put traffic signals, temporary traffic signals, which we don't get the data from. How many authorities have suffered where a temporary set of signals are stuck on red, and we never know till a general public report to us. All of a sudden, we have now got the capability of actually attending that. You have a collision, same issue. When the collision happens, you can send a drone out. An autonomous vehicle is collecting that data. The drone is collecting that data. Do we, as a local authority, have the knowledge and the skill sets that are actually able to analyze that data? We don't, because we give that data to someone else and then pay them to give it back to us. So instead, there's an opportunity for us to train the young generation, or train the skill sets that are developed by the students at the universities and colleges to help us develop, creating those job opportunities within our own sector. So getting all that data, the message I want to try and get over is that connectivity, the collaboration. Because if we don't collaborate, we'll still be working in silos. And picking up Sam's point about failure, failure is good because it gives us the ways we learn the lessons. Flying drones has become a challenge. As you said, people are flying drones. But what the biggest challenge we have is the regulations and the legislations that are in place but not adhered to. But as us as local authorities and us as part of this development, we need to make sure that us as local authorities are following the process, making sure that anyone who's flying within our airspace are adhering to those regulations, because that will make it safer for us to do that. We demonstrated this at NEC, and again, it was mentioned yesterday about the ITS World Congress coming to Birmingham NEC at 2027. We want to showcase and demonstrate how we have that innovation and the collaboration which is able to deliver an autonomous vehicle flying around, driving around the NEC and in and around the West Midlands combined authorities, and how we can stream those images to all the relevant people. Again, the theme, key theme, underlining theme here is the collaboration and work together. What's the future holding? We've talked about future, the vision. When we're talking about the use of drones and the use of urban airspace, we need the infrastructure to put in place. How do we reduce vehicles on our streets? Delivering of goods, logistics in a different way. Is this what the future is going to look like? Can we have a vertiport that will allow drones to be taken off, or drone in a box, working in collaboration with Manchester, with Sam's team, where we are deploying drone in the boxes to make sure that we have an infrastructure which is then shared by all users, not just us as a local authority, but engage with emergency services, developers, anyone who wants to use that. But rather than having 50 drones in the air doing one thing, we have one drone and we use the shared resources. But was that what the infrastructure is going to look like? Can we start carrying logistics on it? We can, because the technology is there. It's not beyond the realms of delivery. What's it going to look like? It's an Amazon box, which will then be able to take the distribution back to the Amazon type of box, and it's in the city centre rather than or in an estate where you have the logistics delivered, as the Sainsbury's, anyone who wants to, doctor's surgery, blood samples, a raft of things. But this is one sector and it's a request to Earl Creek and the rest of the group to try and make sure that this is at the forefront of our development and the collaboration that we're looking for. What are our cities going to look like in the future? And so it was covered again with the panel session. Future cities, what are they going to look like? That's what it's going to look like. But if you look from the right, what we do want to avoid is those collisions. So when the helicopter or aircrafts are flying over our cities, we want to make sure that we are secure and safe in that space. So when we have the rail, the road, the seaports, and the logistics flying all over in the airspaces, we want to make sure our cities are safer. Again, the underlining theme is that collaboration between the ground, the infrastructures, and the airspace. The use of technology when we applied in transportation, transport management, these are the sort of things that are actually going to help us. Digital twins, the list goes on forever, because it's never going to stop, and it's constantly developing, and that's what we want to do. We want to try and make sure that we are ahead of the game, and UK PLC do benefit from them. A request to the group and the audience out there is to use the forums like the Transport Technology Forum, innovation festivals, and any other areas that we can actually collaborate and share that knowledge, work in collaboration with small SMEs, large SMEs, and develop the technology together, because innovation is only as good as if it becomes business as usual. We can innovate as much as we want, but if it doesn't become part and parcel of our daily lives, it's pointless developing that innovation. Thank you for listening, but try and join the forums that we want to do. And I think I've made time. Brilliant. If you need any more information or anything like that available, please come and talk to me, or just drop us an email, and I'm happy to come and join in with you guys. Thank you for listening.